I don't know what the White House is thinking with this messaging, but it looks like they're just doubling down on this type of weird demonic messaging. Yeah, disgusting, evil, as of course the United States was just found to be responsible for bombing a school with over 150 children as energy prices are through the roof. We're spending billions of dollars on this international operation, and we have AI slop videos of celebrations of death. Okay, that's a little weird here. And of course, we just got the first messages from the Ayatollah as the bill keeps ratcheting up, as Donald Trump now is hyper-focusing not just on going after the Iranians, but going after Thomas Massie, as Donald Trump just held a rally in Thomas Massie's district. There's some very interesting things that have been happening around this event and the larger war that is represented amongst MAGA between Thomas Massie and Donald Trump here, as MTG now is adding in, as there's a lot of fake news. There's a lot of weird stuff happening against Thomas Massie. We're going to go over all of it, as Charlie Kirk had some very interesting comments to say about Thomas Massie, as TPUSA isn't too happy with him. What in the world is really going on here? As of course is a very perplexing, confusing type of situation, and we of course will be doing our best to make sense of it all here on this independent media broadcast. If you appreciate that, subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate you being on this brand new channel. It's doing pretty well. We did really well in the beginning. It's like, now we're like, oh, we'll see how it does. But I appreciate all of you guys here. Now, the Ayatollah's message, the new Ayatollah's message was pretty crazy, as a lot of people are talking about how this conflict could be opened up in a new front. They're talking about the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. There was a weird kind of generalized message about the potential of using things like nukes that some people believe the Iranians actually do have. Other people think that this guy's already been taken out, as the Daily Mail is reporting that the Ayatollah is in a coma, as he has allegedly lost his leg during the airstrike that also took out his father. I think he's in hiding, personally, probably somewhere in China, as the bill keeps ratcheting up for this conflict. That's an excursion, that's an operation, that's a war, but not a war, but we just won the war, but we're still continuing the war. The messaging from the White House is just absolutely insane. As right now, on day 13, it looks like we spent nearly $18 billion. We could have bought so many nice things with that money, as Thomas Massie now has been a critic against this conflict, against increasing the military offensive budget. Donald Trump wants to increase it to $1.5 trillion, a huge sum of money that will be going into the pockets of Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and all these other military contractors that truly have no free market competition or incentive even to provide a good product. As Thomas Massie comes out and says, when Congress votes to increase spending, they're voting to increase your taxes. Because you'll pay for the additional spending through inflation and debt and taxes later, it's not through taxes today. I'm the only member of the House who hasn't voted to increase your taxes. As of course, Donald Trump has lowered taxes. Let's just be honest here, especially when it comes to a lot of the kind of corporate taxes. Now, we're still going to see the results of that and how that's going to be playing out here, as there's still a lot of moving parts here, especially when it comes to Trump's economy. But Trump hasn't been known for being a fiscal conservative. We're definitely spending more money. We're definitely becoming more in debt. And Deutsche definitely didn't do the job. All the Deutsche savings were just wiped out within a matter of hours with this whole Operation Epic Fury, which to me is something that is absolutely dragging Donald Trump in the polls. And Donald Trump is, of course, using a lot of his political capital to go after a fellow Republican, which in my opinion also is kind of foolish, especially with the thin margin of control that he has of Congress. as he has shunned and pushed away people like MTG and other individuals that, of course, have stood up and we're seeing more of a real, true anti-establishment type of candidates. As a lot of strategists are saying, it would have been smarter if Donald Trump went to a purple area, an area where Democrat was prominent and a Republican had a chance of defeating him. It'd be nice if we spent billions of donor dollars on those races so the Republicans could have some kind of chance here in the midterms, which, of course, their failed policies create a situation where they will not have a chance in the midterms, and it will be awful. As Donald Trump now is spending his time rallying for Republicans against other Republicans in Thomas Massie's district. Now, Thomas Massie was talking about how people were being bussed in all throughout the state just to arrive here, that this rally wasn't just a part of his district, as of course we have this cringy, weird video from the rally that just happened.
I hope the fake news gets this. Tom Massie stands with the ladies of The View. Tom Massie stands with the ladies of The View. Mr. President, we stand with you. Fight, fight, fight! USA! USA!
I'm telling you, that is the greatest candidate.
How charismatic and charming and authentic. Yeah. Really? We'll get into that. As of course, there's a lot of people now going after Tim Pool for calling Thomas Massie a scholar and a gentleman. We'll get into that in a little bit. Lots of drama also unfolding with TPUSA. Before we do, just really quickly, check out wearechange.shop. It's my shop. It's my store. We got great, incredible products like magnesium glycinate. We only have 49 of 11 left in stock. It's really great when it comes to helping you become the strongest, most amazing version of yourself. Dr. Rhonda Patrick talks about how supplementing magnesium glycinate before bed, if you did drink booze, actually helps you deal with some of the damage that booze does to your particular body. Magnesium glycinate is something that also helps you beat anxiety and stress, helps strengthen your bones, helps heart rhythms, helps balance blood sugar, crushes PMS, and boosts performance, according to some studies out there. I really do start enjoying a lot of this stuff because I see the difference that it makes in me. Lots of people talk about how magnesium also helps them reverse things like depression. Again, we used to have a lot of magnesium in our system. It's very difficult to test for magnesium, by the way. Trust me, I've been looking into it. Our food used to be very nutritious. It used to have a lot of vitamins and minerals in them, like magnesium, a lot of it. It has less and less and less. Why? Because of factory farming, monocropping, and these like horrible practices that literally just keep regrowing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And that's why I think supplementation is key. Magnesium truly has been something that has been a really important part of my life, and I'm super happy that I'm able to supplement with it. And it has helped me out in a lot of aspects of my life. I believe it could potentially help you out. Wearechange.shop. Check it out. Get some magnesium glycinate. We only have 49 of these left in stock. Get it while supplies last. As, of course, this has been the biggest game changer. I usually take this at the end of the night. It also helps activate your vitamin D, by the way. If you're taking vitamin D without K2 and magnesium, like K2 is the most important one, but magnesium really helps deliver and drives it home. I take my vitamin D in the morning. I just took some right now. And then I took my magnesium at night with the last meal of my day. Boom! And even though I'm sleeping in a totally new bed in a totally new location, sleep score, pretty good. First night, awful. Traveling does that to you, but I'm feeling really great now. I'm feeling really awesome. And I think that's because I pack my vitamins. I bring them everywhere I go. And I can't recommend them enough. Wearechange.shop. Now, let's get back to this kind of MAGA kind of civil war here. As Nick Sorter, who also is a big proponent and a big supporter of the presidency, of Donald Trump, came out and says the fact that the GOP decided to run a geriatric never-Trumper like Ed Gallerin in Kentucky is very telling. The guy gives me Joe Biden vibes. Can't even properly read a teleprompter. as being libertarian, responded to Donald Trump endorsing Brandon Herrera. I think that's a good endorsement. I think Brandon Herrera already has it in the bag. It was a runoff election between someone who has been accused of some really awful stuff. The guy dropped out, and it pretty much looks like Brandon Herrera kind of already won. So a little late on this endorsement. Being Libertarian says, this is good news. Weird, though, considering he's running a primary against Massie at the same time, as, of course, Brandon Herrera is seen very similar and has echoed very similar epithets like Thomas Massie did, right? As, of course, people are like, where's the principles? Where's the vote? Where's the actual, like, standing on issues that you actually care about? As, of course, people are saying, no, only power matters here. As this Trump-supported candidate, Ed Gallerin, is a Lindsey Graham supporter. So a lot of people have been describing him as Lindsey Graham light. And I think we have enough Lindsey Grahams in the halls of Congress, as a Liberty score gives Lindsey Graham an F and Thomas Massie an A. But somehow Thomas Massie was called a rhino. I don't get that. Thomas Massie responded to Tim by saying, thank you, Tim. You're going to get some hate for this, but the hate will come from bots and bots. And the love will come from supporters of the Constitutions. As people have responded to this by saying they really want you to stop looking into the Epstein files. So glad a few people are holding strong here. A lot of people are coming out. I stand with Thomas Massie, and it's good to see this type of, support here when clearly this candidate is weird, right? It's like a salad fingers. It's like the charm of a wet blanket. It's like, really? Like Lindsey Graham rhino, as MTG came out saying, this is honestly one of the worst things I have seen. Lekavita got Trump to endorse one of the biggest Trump haters in Kentucky, talking about Ed Gallerin. Ed Gallerin is also being accused of being a never-Trumper. Boy, I bet Ed Gallerin really hates all the sweet people that wore MAGA hats all these years. And now Lekavita and Susie Wiles is going to put Trump on the plane tomorrow to Kentucky and parade him around with Eddie Gallerin, who hates Trump and MAGA, so they can rake in the money from their MAGA donors. Trump supporters are so freaking brainwashed by all the 24/7 BS propaganda on Fox News that they aren't capable of seeing how much these people hate them. As it looks like original post that MTG responded to has been deleted? No. This is Thomas Massie kind of responding back here against Ed in a campaign ad.
I'm Thomas Massie, and I approve this message.
Woke Eddie Gowrine and liberal out-of-state special interest groups have run millions in ads trying to tell you how pro-Trump he is. But what they haven't told you is woke Eddie Gowrine abandoned President Trump's Republican Party, a complete dereliction of his MAGA duty.
I hate these campaign ads. I don't know who does them. I like Thomas Massie, but I don't like to. It's like, I get for who the crowd is, but like, I just don't like it.
Woke Eddie left the Republican Party right after President Trump won the Republican nomination in May of 2016. Just check his voter registration. That's right, Trump becomes the party leader, the MAGA movement is taking off. Disgusted by what he sees, woke Eddie Gowrine turns his back on Trump and walks away. But it gets even worse. After Eddie Gowrine left Donald Trump's GOP for over 4 years, guess when he finally changed his registration back to the Republican Party? That's right, only after President Trump was no longer in office and Joe Biden had become president in 2021. Woke Eddie Gowrine. Not just a Trump hater, a Trump traitor.
Huh. I automatically tune out when I see that type of ad. As other people are posting online, specifically Ed Gallerin, the guy who is being endorsed by Donald Trump, who previously was a never-Trumper. He says, Thomas Massie's biggest supporters here to protest Donald Trump. No surprise. As there's a community note on Ed Gallerin's post saying the people in this picture are protesting were organized by the Boone County Democrats. They are not related to Thomas Massie or have any connections to him. As of course, every time Trump does a protest, every time Trump does a speech, there's people protesting him, usually from, of course, the left. Now, Thomas Massie also talked about a lot of underhanded attacks that have happened against him, his staff members, the people that he works with, the people that he contracts with that were threatened, saying that they will not work with other people in Washington, D.C. if they continue to work with Thomas Massie. Other staffers were told, hey, we'll give you very lucrative, very prominent positions inside of this White House if you abandon and if you leave Thomas Massie. All of those things, according allegedly to Thomas Massie, that has been happening here, with a lot of underhanded tricks, as well as a lot of top billionaires, uncoincidentally connected to the Epstein list, that are financing the race for Ed Gallerin against Thomas Massie. Pam Bondi and Massie have been going at it too. These were the talking points that Pam Bondi had, who, again, has been seen just as an outright disgrace.
Respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question. It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
and we invited you in. This guy has Trump
Gentlemen.
derangement syndrome. He needs to get. You're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
I
get
want
on
you to
these
watch the video.
matters.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information. None.
Respond, and then
And then, of course, Thomas Massie recently caught the director of the FBI also lying to us as well, Kash Patel. Now, this is a weird post here by Turning Point Action that just released this video saying, "Stop Rhino Massie."
Well, this is something that would have never happened under the Obama or Biden administrations.
The president wants to save college sports.
No one believes in the American industry like President Trump, the American worker. This is about a return to American strength.
Her tax refund was over $10,000. With these slam dunk economic numbers, I'm very confident that we're going to get the American dream back.
Yeah, slam dunk. Whoa, yeah, economy's back. And Thomas Massie responded to TPUSA posting, "Stop Rhino Massie." There's another community note here saying Massie was one of Charlie Kirk's favorite congressmen. Yeah, Thomas Massie posted this. "What's gotten into y'all?" And listen, TPUSA used to be very against the Iran war. They're not really now, which is like, come on. That's what Charlie really strongly believed in. And I believe his, principles and his viewpoints were important. As Charlie Kirk literally tweeted, "One of my favorite congressmen, Thomas Massie, hashtag big government sucks," with a picture of Massie speaking to people. And of course, the two in 2023 talked to each other on their program. And this is what they said to each other.
One of the most exciting developments from last week's negotiations is the new church committee. And one of the members of that new church committee is one of my favorite members of Congress. He loves the Constitution. He loves liberty. He's honest and he's tough, and he's going to really go after the intel agencies. It's Thomas Massie, who's just terrific, from Kentucky. Congressman Massie, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie wasn't wrong here, right? So it's just kind of weird to see kind of TPUSA call him a rhino. That really doesn't kind of make sense to me. As Thomas Massie comes out and says they used people from outside Kentucky to fill a small venue, outside the Kentucky 4 district, to fill a small venue. Woke Eddie's voice cracked as he struggled to read the teleprompter, and nobody fell for the sad attempt to breathe life into his stale campaign. But they're still outspending me almost 3-1, as there's betting odds here that actually improved after this rally for Thomas Massie, which is pretty surprising, as a lot of people are talking about. But again, betting odds aren't, the polls, right? So they aren't, they're just people speculating here. But the speculation is in favor of Thomas Massie. Some people say the speculative markets, the betting markets are more accurate than real markets. Who knows? But listen, Thomas Massie has absolutely been an incredible force of transparency and accountability for this administration that has been kind of hiding away from it. Granted, I disagree with some of his policies. Like, he's not perfect. No one's perfect. But, like, we wouldn't have the Epstein list if it wasn't for him. Even Mike Pence came out and highlighted how nobody wanted to sponsor the Epstein bill, even though everyone voted for it. As he says, nobody wanted to be Thomas Massie, who has their whole career thrown up in the air, getting primaried, hit pieces, disavowed, and then MTG feeling like she had to drop out of Congress altogether over this. So the mere act of sponsoring the bill put the establishment in a bind. Nobody wanted to be the one to go against. It was sponsored. Yeah. And then there's this weird kind of Alexander brothers connection to individuals like Jared Kushner. We'll get into that video in a little bit. That's going to be the next video on the main channel here, as of course this directly contradicts Kash Patel's statement, right? Thomas Massie is also trying to introduce legislation like the Milk Freedom Act, which I think is important. Listen, I like Thomas Massie. I think he's a force for good. I think we need him in Congress. I think we need more radical voices. We need less Lindsey Grahams. And if you agree, share this video. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. Thank you so much for checking out and getting the magnesium glycinate and supporting this independent media broadcast. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/LukeRadowski76.